Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to another session of your social science children. We have been already seeing about the towns, traders and craftsmen, and in that we have seen various types of towns, and then we have seen about Hampi and Masulipatnam, which turned out to be a very important places of this medieval period. So now what are we going to see? We are going to see first about Surat, the important trade center of our country even today, right? So it is situated on the banks of river Tapti in the present day Gujarat. So it is located in Gujarat. Then it emerged as an important trading center in 13th century CE. So after the Mughal takeover of Surat in 1573. So after this Surat was occupied by the Mughal emperors, it became the main commercial center for the Mughal Empire. Okay, so this turned out to be a very important commercial center after Mughals took over this place. So its importance on trade, okay, so as it turned out to be a very important place for trade, it earned a title called Gateway to the West, which means this is the place where trade activity started from the west part of India. So trading and money lending are the main sources of income in the people in Surat, for the merchants in Surat. Okay, so trading and money lending were the two important activities carried out by the merchants of Surat, and traded with West Asian, African and European countries. So to trade with the West Asian and African, European countries, Surat was a main point. So here also the export and import activities took place as in Masulipatnam. So the important items of export from this place were textiles, again the cotton and silk, fabrics, and then indigo, spices and jewelry. So Surat was also renowned for its gold lace borders and a type of embroidery called as zari work. Okay, so the imported items, so the items which were imported were included perfumes, dry fruits and wines. So all these items were imported, and the textiles, indigo, spices and jewelry were exported, and the products which were manufactured in Surat itself, okay, the gold laces or the zari works were also exported. So here you could see the sample of zari work, and then here you could see the craft work, right, the craft work of Surat. So the Europeans came to Surat by the end of 16th century. They established factories and warehouses here, which added to Surat's wealth. So as Surat was located on the coastline, sea trade happened in Surat, and these Europeans, when they came to Surat, they established various factories in Surat and also warehouses here. So warehouse is nothing but a place where things are stored. Okay, so things are stored in a place called warehouse. Right. So Surat as a prosperous center of trade weakened by the emergence of Bombay as an important port. So Surat was of course a very prosperous center for trade, but all of a sudden when Bombay started to emerge as an important place of trade, Surat started to weaken. So it was also weakened by the raids of Marathas led by Chhatrapati Shivaji in 1664 CE. So Surat again weakened for various reasons. One thing, the emergence of Bombay, then the raids by the Marathas, which was led by Chhatrapati Shivaji. So all these things weakened the Surat. So here you could see the warehouse which was built by the Dutch in Surat. So now we are going to see about traders. The lesson is towns, traders and craftsmen. So we have seen all about the towns. So now we are getting in to know about traders. So first, the reasons how the economic prosperity was there in India. How come economic prosperity took place in India? Because the political stability, then the favorable economic policies, standardized systems of currency, secure trade routes over the land, sea and also the rivers. All these together gave the reasons for the economic stability and prosperity in our country. So, the internal trade took place. Internal trade is nothing but the trade within our country itself. So, this took place through two modes. One was land route and the other one was waterways. So, waterways, it could be when it is inside the country, it happened through the rivers. Okay. So, the main items of internal trades were textiles, hemp, indigo, oilseeds, pulses, spices, wheat, rice and sugar. So, all these items were traded within the country. And foreign trade also happened with two routes. One route was through the Persian Gulf that reached to Mediterranean. The other route was through the Red Sea that again reached the Mediterranean. So, these two were the routes taken for foreign trades or the international trades. So, India exports far exceeded the volume and the value of the imports, which means our exports were more when compared to the things we imported. Okay, so the imports were less in value as well as in the volume, but our exports were very much higher when compared to the imports. So, the major items of exports were again spices, textiles, sugar and precious stones. So, imports, when we take horses were mostly imported from the countries, especially from Arab countries. It was from Kabul and Central Asia, and then luxury items were imported from Europe and West Asia, right. So, the traders also protected their collective interest by forming guilds. Guilds means a group of people who are engaged in same kind of business, right. Guilds means group of people engaged in same business, right. So, guilds were formed by the group of people who were doing same kind of business. So, several large and powerful guilds were there in South India. So, especially in South India, many powerful and large guilds were there, and the most famous of them are the Manigraman and the Nandesi. So, these two were the important and the famous guilds in South India. Then the traders who were specialized in local trade, okay, so the traders who were very much well doing in the local trade, they were called as Biopagis or Baniks, okay, and the traders who were specialized in long distance trade, that means inter-regional trade, they were called as Seths and Modis, okay. So, each and every kind of trade, the people who were occupied in various types of trades were given different types of names, okay. So, first we have seen about the guilds, and then we have seen about the most famous guilds Manigraman and Nandesi, and then the traders who were specialized in local trade were called as Biopagis or Baniks, and the trades who were specialized in long distance trade, they were called as Seths or Modis. Now, another group of traders who were traveling along with their goods, okay. So, they took their goods, they traveled to various places and they sold their goods. So, you could see who moved goods bulk in caravans over long distances, that is the nomadic communities. We know what is nomad. Nomad is a person or a group of people who does not settle in a place, who moves around the place, various places. So, they were called as Banjaras, okay. So, the trading community, there are varieties of trading communities in India. So, some of them are the Gujarati merchant community, then the Multanis and Punjabis, and the Marwaris from Rajasthan, and the Chettiars from the Coromandel coast. So, these are all the various trading communities of the country. So, these people were engaged in various trade activities. Now, we are going to see about crafts and craftsperson. So, people were engaged in various types of craft activities, which we are going to see now. So, the several forms of crafts were pottery, weaving, wood carving, gem cutting and metal work. So all these activities flourished well in the medieval India. So patronage from rulers and nobles made the crafts thrive. So these people of course earned very meager amount as their income. So they received patronage. Patronage is nothing but support or grant. So the rulers gave them some grants or some support through through money. Okay, so that is how they survived. And karkhanas or workshops were set up. Karkhanas are nothing but the place which was set up specially for them to work. Okay, so previously they did not have any such places. So the places were set up for them. Okay, so karkhanas or workshops were set up to provide the workplace for artisans, and the products of artisans had great demand both locally and in the foreign countries. So the various products, the various craft products they made, it had its higher demand even within the country as well as in the foreign countries also. So as a result, the population of artisans grew steadily. So the group of artisans, the count increased because of the more demand in their products. So each region in India had its own special craft. So each and every part of India has its own special craft. A particular area, it is specialized for that particular craft. Let us take for example, we say Tanjavur doll which is famous in Tanjavur. Like that, various places have its own important craft items. So let us see some of them. For textiles, let us take Malabar which is famous for calico, Golconda for kalamkari and Bengal for muslin. And then for woolen cloth and Fulkari embroidery, Kashmir and Punjab is famous. And then for fine silks and brocades, Benares, Ujjain, Indore and Paitan are all famous. So with this, we have come to the end of this lesson, children. See you soon in another lesson. Thank you. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.